Hold up, them crackers beat Jade Cargill? And now AEW's list of champions looks like the line to get into a Taylor Swift concert? Jade Cargill lost her first match, 60 wins in, for no damn reason at Double or Nothing. Welcome back, Kris Statlander, and it was actually an exhilarating moment that produced a giant pop. But this is AEW we're talking about, and that's all they know how to do. Big splashes with little follow-up is the unofficial catchphrase of AEW. Right, Action Andretti? I've learned my lesson waiting for AEW to follow up on anything. I don't want to hear any colonizer excuse about how Jade needs to take time off or anything, because AEW has f***ed around and unlocked white supremacy in its championship ranks. Jade Cargill's TBS title reign was promising at first, but the second half of Jade Cargill's run felt mailed in, where they were just counting her wins. That was literally the entire story with no depth or character development. It's like they were waiting for something that they thought was bigger, better, whiter. Now AEW's title picture looks like a pickleball tournament in Seattle. AEW Double or Nothing sucked. AEW whitewashing its whole title picture is one reason, but there are plenty more. There was way too much outside interference up and down this show, to the point where Britt Baker interfered twice in 2 different matches. There's so much outside interference in AEW, they're literally running out of people to run in. The Acclaimed went unadvertised despite being your biggest act. Like, what are we doing here? The lack of crowd heat didn't help, but I can't blame the crowd because most of these storylines was ass, if you even want to call them stories. And finally, AEW Double or Nothing sucked because I swear I seen a rock and roll singer in blackface. Is there any quality controls in this company, or have they finally legalized bigotry in AEW? Because wasn't Sabu on this show? I know there's gonna be a couple people who have a problem with me making this about race. And I want these people to do me a favor. Suck my dick from the back, pause. I'm black, nigga. I love being black, and I love talking about it. I'm good at it. It's my perspective, and it's a perspective that 99% of this media runs and hides from. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. There are plenty of places you can go where race is invisible to the pro wrestling discourse. Imagine coming into the wrestling space, which is so white it called the cops on a cookout, and telling one of the few black stallions in this space why they shouldn't talk about race. These are the same people who walk into a black movie theater and say, "Can you people please keep it down? I'm trying to enjoy a film here." You got me fucked up. In fact, now that AEW's roster of champions has turned into a Vanderpump Rules watch party overnight, let's bring back the Spectrum of Whiteness. Championship edition. Okay. MJF is Yacht Club White, of course. He's your final boss, shouts to Max. Orange Cassidy has had a hell of a run as AEW International Champion. Better than MJF so far, in my opinion. Orange is beach bum white. He gets a lot of sun and is chill as fuck. Like, he's almost with us. Wardlow's frat boy white, and he dethroned 2 black champions, so he's on the wrong side of that spectrum right now. Hook is strip club white, and AEW hasn't done anything with him in a while, so maybe they think he's black. FTR is Mid-South white, and House of Black are gothic white, which kind of feels like an oxymoron. I've always had a kinship with goths, because they're ostracized in their communities too, and they just love the color black. They can stay. Tony Storm is Aussie, white, and Kris Statlander is alien white. But as a legal alien who beat Jade Cargill, she scored very high on the spectrum. Today's sponsor offers testing for people of every persuasion, so let's get checked. Today's pro wrestling bit is sponsored by Let's Get Checked. This is a great company that offers discreet, affordable, and professional access to at-home testing. Let's Get Checked will empower you to live a happier and healthy life by taking control of your health with easy-to-use testing kits from the comfort of your own home. Let's Get Checked offers a variety of testing to ensure that you are literally living your best life. They've got male hormone tests, female fertility test, STD test, COVID test, diabetes, and that's just a short list. Over 30 at-home tests are available today. Once you receive a testing kit, just use the easy-to-follow instructions to collect your own sample and mail it back to the lab. Each sample is anonymously analyzed in a certified lab by a team of medical professionals. All results are delivered directly to the user and discussed between the user and the nurse. Results are private and the user can even view them online. Let's Get Checked has administered over 3 million tests. So what are you waiting for? Keeping up to date with your health could literally be a life or death decision. Right now, you can go to our sponsor, trylgc.com/pro-wrestling-bits and use the code WRESTLING25 for a 25% discount. Just click the link in the description. I need you all to be as happy and as healthy as possible because who else am I going to talk about wrestling with? Now back to the bit. It's the return of all elite white people, and no, I don't think Tony Khan or AEW hates black people. He just doesn't care about us. Huge difference. AEW never goes all the way with black talent, even when they're beyond ready. All the people who are too afraid to talk about race until it's time to start gaslighting love to say, you can't book people based on their skin color. And that's true. If there aren't any black talent ready to shine, it's not fair to force them into that situation because of bullshit wokeness. I happen to hate woke culture. But in year 5, you can't tell me that all the biggest stars in AEW are white. The Acclaimed got the biggest reaction on Double or Nothing, but they went unadvertised and lost to the Addams Family. Despite being huge merch movers and a top act, AEW took the titles right off the Acclaimed for no damn reason. And they did the same with Jade because AEW is the one company that simply doesn't understand the cultural currency black people bring to any industry. Not to be woke or fair, but to make money. Look around you. Black women are having a moment. Not just in wrestling, everywhere. All the best rappers are black women right now. The Little Mermaid is black, and almost $200 million later, she's making fools out of the same old boys network that's keeping AEW whiter than Ursula's lace front. AEW has one of the most diverse rosters I've ever seen, but when it comes to the hand-picked stars that AEW really invests in, suddenly the company becomes whiter than a ski lift in a red state. If you want to know anything about what Tony Khan aesthetically thinks a wrestling star should look like in 2023, look at his 4 hand-picked pillars. It's like he's building a Roman Colosseum with all these white pillars. And if Tony Khan keeps fumbling the bag when it comes to going all the way with black talent, AEW will fall faster than Rome did. I've been told you the pillars are a bad idea, and if you don't want to believe me, just listen to one of AEW's rising black stars. Talk to him, Pretty Ricky.
But I loathe the idea of a pillar because, one, it's a full gimmick, and it came from one guy who there's nothing behind it. You get what I'm saying? To say that these 4 dudes are the pillar of the company, you know what you're doing by saying that? F everybody else who did anything. Those people don't matter. It's these 3 guys that we deemed. I have bestowed this sacred title upon thee, and I want you to go forth and do with it. No, I don't believe in that.
That kind of sounds like when I said, there are countless stars in the AEW locker room who'd kill to be on television, let alone be an elusive pillar. Being a pillar isn't something you necessarily work toward or earn. It's really just a matter of a billionaire's taste. The black community pretty much adopted Cody Rhodes, and after that AEW fan base vilified him and his black wife, he couldn't get out of AEW fast enough despite starting the damn company. Even AEW's international events are caked in caucasity. WWE's out here going to Puerto Rico and Saudi Arabia, where you see all these beautiful brown people in the crowd, while AEW's out here in London and Canada. Get it how you live. Shit, maybe their next international event should be in Rome. By the way, all this talk about pillars, and when they finally did a Pillars storyline, it wasn't even good enough to main event a half-empty pay-per-view.
Anytime you get a shot away from hard cam, you know what I mean? You can really see a lot of things. AEW found that out this weekend or whatever, one of their events. It was like 3/4 of an arena completely empty. It's like, they don't want that photo out anywhere.
Last week on Rampage, Anthony Bowens was scripted to say never bet on black. Clearly that seems to be part of Tony Khan's whole booking philosophy. And let me make myself clear, I am not an activist. I'm not asking for equality in AEW because really there's no such thing as equality in this country. I'm just a highly entertaining wrestling analyst. Like, this was hilarious. And I'm just analyzing the wrestling product from my unique perspective as a handsome African in wrestling media. And from my vantage point, AEW's championship roster looks like a casting call for Yellowstone. In 2023, that's hilarious! I've got to say something. I hear from a lot of white people who think that they're losing this country because it's becoming a melting pot. If you're one of those people, go watch AEW, where the roster is extremely diverse, but the white people are king. If you missed the year 1962, AEW might be the company for you. Check out this video on our tribal chief, Himi Uso, and subscribe if you're not scared of all this beautiful black discourse. Was it time to beat Jade? Tell me in the comments!